people. The phone died. The phone died, okay? I'm sorry. The phone died. The phone died, okay? I've been out here just mouthing and chatting, yap. I forgot the phone. Okay, that's it. The phone died. So if you see me again, welcome. We were on a live and the phone died, okay? Because your girl out here was just passionately yapping away. Your show is back, okay? I forgot I hadn't charged the battery and I didn't put the camera to charge, and so it died on us. So we have goals to achieve. Support the channel, because if we hit our goals, this will become a show, okay? And the show, you'll see, we're back. Anyway, our cake is baked, okay? I literally took it out in the time that we were off. And so let's go have a look at it. That's the vanilla cake. It's baked nicely. Look, it's delicate. Look. Okay, so look at the cake. That's the vanilla cake. Remember, I eyeballed the batter in both, and look at how they've turned out, so of the same size and height. Look. Why don't I let them cool in the pan? Because I want to show you. Because if they cool in the pan, you won't see the cake we baked. You won't see this. That's why. I want to cool them in the pan, but I also want to show you what we made. So there we are. So our cake is baked. We have 2 6-inch vanilla sponge cakes. We'll leave that to sit over there. What do you mean? Do you mean what brand of vanilla? Is it the Nielsen Macy brand? This is vanilla extract. I picked these in Costco. I've got to go pick up some from Costco. This brand. Okay, so let's talk about vanilla quickly, Danai, because I remember you said something about the vanilla you used or something like that. Like vanilla, you have to know the difference between the vanillas. Like sometimes you have vanilla essence, and sometimes you have vanilla that says vanilla, like the ones you buy from your Lidl and Aldi's. Those are not vanilla. That's vanilla, as in the flavoring that is dropped in glycerin. Okay, that's why it's very oily and it looks like it. If you see what I'm saying, the consistency is viscous if you pour in it, and it's thick, and that is almost like they've taken the vanilla as in the flavoring and then added some other ingredients, and the ingredients outweigh the amount of vanilla, so it doesn't do anything in your bake. If you want to get like vanilla extract, it's expensive. This Nielsen Macy brand, when I used to buy it from my local Tesco, it's a small bottle, like a small bottle of, if you Google it, you will see. And it used to be $7.99. And gosh, my heart used to break buying that. And they have other versions. They have the vanilla bean paste. Because for other preferences, you might have to say if you have halal and specific dietary preferences were alcohol. Because the base for the vanilla extract is the being soaked in alcohol, ethanol, and then water is added. So whilst it is strong, The alcohol base means that for some audiences or customers, you may not be able to use this product. And for that, you might have to switch to vanilla bean paste. And that in this brand is expensive. Costco used to make the Kirkland brand, and it was a 240 ml bottle, almost the same amount at 240. 400, it's not 240, it was 470 ml bottle, and it used to cost, I think, $12.99, and it kind of increased to $14.99. And for 470 mils, almost the same size and quantity, it was good value. And then something happened, and for a while I couldn't get that in Costco. I went to Costco twice and I couldn't get it. So I had to order the same Kirkland brand from Amazon. And guess how much Amazon used to sell them for? $26.99. Almost twice the price from Costco. But because it was a good product, I had it. And for a while I had other substitute versions, which was vanilla flavoring, but it's not the extract. Thankfully, I think Costco partnered with Nielsen Macy, and this is the first brand of vanilla extract I got from them. And this is 473 mils, and the 473 mils cost $15.99 when I went to buy it. So this is almost 16 pounds to the penny, if you like. And the ingredients is ethanol, sugar, and vanilla bean extractives. That's all. That's all you have. So for every 15 ml of extract, you have a vanilla bean. So yeah, that's a lot of vanilla talk, but hope that helps. So if you really want to get value for your money, buying the vanilla extract from Lidl and Aldi is not what you need. If you want to get value in terms of flavoring, the Lidl and Aldi brand, not great. But in terms of value for money, if you go to Tesco, value for flavoring, you can get this brand, but it's just ridiculously expensive. I will tell you so you can make the choice. But for 473 mils, a whole bottle for 16 pounds, this is way much value. There's two of the small 100 ml bottles over there. Just some too small. I don't know. Is it 100 mils? It's very small. It used to annoy me. And that was $7.99, and I think that has gone up anyway. Oh, my people are back. Like, sorry. For those of you who didn't know, our camera died, okay, people? It just died because your girl was out here chatting away and didn't know. So the cakes are baked. The cakes we made. So then I said, I'm yet to try some good quality vanilla. Dawn is here with us, my love. Dawn, yeah, our camera died, okay? Girl was out here yapping away, and I that's it. I love you people. That's all. Look at how good our cakes have baked. Look. It's the same vanilla sponge anyway, except this time I just decided to bake it at a lower temperature of 140. It was only, and that was by accident anyway, because when I went to check after the camera died, I checked my oven thermometer, and it was at 140. So I baked the entire thing at 140, which is why it has baked so light. So yeah, whilst you're here, a polite reminder that for all 17 candidates who are out here, okay, Caitlin says you need to send me some in my okay, it's $30 here in Canada and 16 pounds sounds more reasonable, my darling. It doesn't, because 16 pounds, so the equivalent of pounds in, okay, yeah, the equivalent of the 60, the equivalent of 16 pounds in Canadian dollars. Let's see how much is. You'll find out it's probably the same. Faso, darling. You'll probably find out it's the same, or only a little less. That is if you throw in all the duty, the cost of duty and taxes. Okay, so yeah, I love a good vanilla. Oh, so it turns out it is imported and distributed by PME. So PME somehow partnered with Costco, and now we have this. So yeah, in terms of, look, I'll tell you this. In terms of running a cake business, your most costly item will be butter. Well, first of all, the most costly item will be your time, sis. There is no way we can cut and slice that. Your time is always going to be the most expensive expense that you put towards your business, okay? Your time. Because there are other cake we were having that conversation about pricing, and you'll find other cake, like if you go back to my YouTube archives, as in if you go back to my portfolio of videos, you'll find a long form video where I made a YouTube themed cake. And the intention for that cake was, I kind of had to go back in time as say, a beginner cake maker. And if I were to start all over again, how much will I price my cakes? Because like I said, pricing is it's psychology centered. It's a confidence thing, it's a self-worth thing, it's a self-esteem thing, it's a you thing. Whilst the product itself has a price, as in a material price and value that should be associated with it, when you become a custom cake maker or a home baker, what drives that value? Because a cake is always going to have an expected price to it, whether you perceive it good or bad. But how you determine, like when people pay £1,000 for a 3-tier cake, okay, they're not at that point paying for the flour, because flour is never going to cost £100, okay? Even the waitress finely milled premium flour is never going to be £100 per 1 kilo. Never. At most it's £5 against the Lidl and Aldi brand that is £1.09. Okay, so what will make, why am I so animated about this? Okay, I am animated because this is a passionate subject. I feel people do a disservice about. People are either trying to sell you an expectation, okay, that doesn't exist, because unless that cake tutor, that mentor is actually giving you a blueprint and is willing to stand on the sidelines and hold your hands, please keep your money in your pocket, okay? Because actually when they are telling you they've run a successful cake business, okay, the successful cake business means that they have the knowledge, and what is actually making them the money is the knowledge they are passing on to you and not the business they perceive as successful. Fact. Okay, so here's the thing. When you are paying £1,000 for a 3-tier cake, you're not paying for the ingredients anymore. You're paying for the quality of skill, the value of time and expertise. And nobody determines that for you except you. Okay, I'm not mad about the cake maker who is charging £1,000 for the hell. Get your money. I will be in there telling you to, because you know what? By the time you get to charging £1,000 for a 3-tier cake, you know that cake inside out. Your credibility is on the line. The years of time and experience and training that has undergone it, you are worth every penny. But how are you able to demand that? You are able to demand that because there's what? There's proof of what do you call it? There's proof there. There's a social proof. There is evidentiary proof that you've done this over and over. And suddenly you have the confidence to go, if you can't pay me £1,000, I'm going to bed. Good night. But when you're a beginner, do you have that confidence to demand that? You are out here acting like a chicken when you call for £60. and the person still tells you, oh, someone quoted 45, I'll be there. And you're feeling sore because your ego and your expectation has been bruised. So pricing, being successful, and all of these things, it's a psychology thing. And if all cake makers can start by actually seeing their worth in what they are selling, this drama of other cake makers pulling people down in the comment section will just not be a thing. I refuse to accept that another cake maker justifying their sort of pile on another maker just because the other cake maker is perceived as being expensive. I refuse to accept that that is okay. That is not okay. It's okay if you want to charge £60, but I have seen in other people's comment section where somebody who actually claims to own a cake business, and let's not get into this thing where we think that those people are random people. No, there are actual cake business owners who think it's okay to get in the comment section of other cake businesses and shout at them that you are ridiculously, honey, if I'm ridiculously expensive, it's not your problem. Just focus on your pricing here and let's all be okay. Back to the subject of the YouTube cake I said I made. When I made that video, the intention was to kind of take myself back in time to make a cake as a beginner cake maker and what my time and resource. And for that single cake as a beginner, and mind you, I had to almost devoid myself of the experience I had and to go back to the groundwork. So I decided to go shop for the ingredients, which was like almost mimicking what it would look like. Because when you're starting a cake business, it's not like you have a bulk of ingredients at your home waiting for every purchase. Sometimes you run out of ingredients. So I worked out my time for what, say, an assumed customer will contact me for a cake and I have to go shopping. When I put it all together, I think it worked out a whole day's job of going to the shops, coming back to bake, and it was a simple drip cake. And the drip, that took me over 9 hours, I think. Don't quote me, but the video is still on YouTube. And if you go back to YouTube and you see that video, you will see I took pains in tabulating the time I spent and every time and expense. And I even mitigated that. Tell me why. I was in a cake group then. I've told you before that some of the most toxic places you will find is caking groups. The groups that are set up to encourage and support us or support each other, turns out they are the most toxic you will ever find. Tell me why cake makers in that group were dragging me, because they do not understand what, with all the evidence, with all the time, and I gave the quote of the time and I worked everything out and I made a video about it. And I said, you know what? The thing with the pricing was to just inform beginner cake makers what it will look like and to kind of give people a guide. And if you're not comfortable charging that, you do you. Established cake businesses were over there going, I could do this in 4 hours. Yes, honey, you could do it in 4 hours because you are established now. You have resources. You have mixers that are not a hand mixer anymore. What about that beginner baker who is starting and just has one hand mixer and they don't have two cakes that are baking the same time to cut down their baking time? I was so like, I just realized that wasn't a fight I was ever going to win, and people were just not willing to accept, because you know what challenges people to be in other people's comment section to pile on. Say if a cake maker felt comfortable to go and shout at another cake maker because their cakes were expensive, the perception here is not because they think that cake maker is unduly expensive. The real issue here is that the person who feels comfortable to add to the pile-on is suddenly challenged by their inadequacies. The inadequacy is that suddenly when you see somebody charging £1,000 for a cake that you can equally produce, but you charge £200 and you were busy justifying why £200 is okay. Suddenly when you see another cake maker demanding 1,000 for it and actually getting paid for it, you get triggered. But the problem is you can't be triggered by saying, oh, actually, I feel less than, and actually, I sold myself short. So you see, you go in the comment section and start adding to the pile-on because you think that it's expensive, but the issue is not that they're expensive. The issue is that suddenly your self-worth, your confidence, and your inability to charge what you are worth, it has been put right in front of you, because you cannot understand why somebody is taking £1,000 and you cannot even begin to talk £300 in the same conversation. And that is why I do not engage in those comments, because I realize that the fight is not even about the perception of what is expensive or what isn't. The fight is about how you feel. So dragging another person down in their comment section because they charged £200 for the cake you charge £20 for is okay because it makes you feel better. Dolly, you have literally validated what I'm saying. Dolly says, yeah, that is why I don't join any. You know what? There is one that I have one or two that I still have affinity for. Obviously, as my life has changed and my business has grown and my interest, I don't engage in those places anymore actively. But I do go back. Say if I was looking for, say, some resource ASAP, like a recommendation for a custom purchase for, let's say, flowers or something, I go back and ask a question or two, but I don't engage with it actively as I used to when my journey began, because they are very, very, like, a lot of them are very toxic. Oh my God. You'll find them like in the call, and I'm like, you're supposed to be supporting each other. What's your problem? Pastor says, oh my God, I felt it. I went to bed at 3 a.m. knowing I had to work in the morning. I had work trying to smooth the cake. It was so painful as a beginner. See? It's okay. We can read. We understand what you're saying. Then I catch you soon, darling. All the best. We'll see you in a bit. All right? So, yeah. The truth is, for beginners, for instance, there's also the subject of, should you take a class, or should you take a class, or should you teach yourself? It's neither here nor there. As a self-taught baker, I will tell you, whether you take a class or not, your entire business is going to revolve around teaching yourself a lot of things, right? Because when you go for a class, the class, unless you're going to a cake school where you enroll for, say, let's say 8 weeks of 2 days. Do you see what my point is, unless you're going to a cake school that has structured classes to cover all the things that you want to know, most likely, if you take a one-to-one class, it is going to be optimized for a particular outcome for you. But cake business is very wide and the spectrum is broad. So if you even take one class for one thing, you're going to have to learn a lot of things along the way. So what is my advice for either should you book a class? If you're a beginner, you've never baked a cake and you've started baking and you want to decorate, here's my recommendation, honest. Pay for a class. You cut, because the foundations of building a cake is set in a particular principle. No amount of videos you watch online is going to take you there quicker. Okay, so depending on how quick you want to get, because you know what, if you pay for a one-to-one class, and I'm not necessarily encouraging a one-to-one class. You can also look for classes where it's group, because the group class is more affordable. And if you cannot do that, look out for tutors who have online classes, as in not the online classes that are pre-taped, okay? Because sometimes you do require the interaction with your tutor. So look for those classes where they have the Zoom sessions and they're like, okay, you can book for the Zoom session for, say, let's say £30, and you have about 15 people in the class, because you still have access to the tutor even though the class is virtual. You know what that's going to do? That is going to fill in the hows and the whys, because what most tutorials don't do is they don't give you the intention. So for instance, if they told you to this buttercream, first of all, when you want to learn on a tutorial, you're going to have to learn how to make buttercream and the best consistency that will cover a cake anyway, because they don't take time to break down all the nuances of buttercream consistency. So there you go, you learn to bake a cake, you go on YouTube, you find a tutorial for buttercream. But the key information that buttercream video has missed completely is the consistency of buttercream that will cover your cake easily for you, especially as a beginner. So there you go, you found the tutorial for the buttercream, you made your cake. And then the tutorial that will teach you to stack the cake. Come to stack the cake, you put the buttercream on it. And here's one tip. The tutorial completely missed out on some of the key tips. For instance, a tip as easy as dip your spatula in hot water. It will spread your buttercream easy. But this tutorial doesn't capture that information for you. So there you go, in your kitchen, over there with your cake and the buttercream, all derived from tutorials. Well done. Okay, now let's cover the cake. And a cake that will take less than 30 minutes to cover, you are over there 4 hours later, you are sweating bullets. How is self-taught going for you? And even if you persevere, and some of us do have the spirit of perseverance, you will get to the end. But that would have taken you 4 sessions, many cakes thrown in the bin, and a lot of humming and puffing. And that will be 2 months too late. See? Dolly. Dolly says, even I have to use my... Dolly, come and tell them. Okay? Dolly. You know what? I will not tell you that don't buy a course, but the intention behind the course is important. If you think you're just buying a course so that it will do all the job for you, you're going to sell yourself short and you're going to waste money. Okay? If you want a course, get a course that has the tutor live in class with you. Don't waste your money on the course that has been pre-made for you. Have the course, but then before you get there, how do you even know? My point is, Dolly, come and tell us your experience. We want to hear, so that when eventually your sister out here decides to produce, because you see, the thing is, it's not like I don't know I can sell you a course. But the thing is, I am passionate about the things that I didn't have when I started. Why did I? There are still people on TikTok who are crying about ganache class, and people are paying £600 for a ganache class. I know those courses. I see them. Are they bad courses? No. But then again, let's face it, especially in this day and age of information, people are just lazy. Like, because if you really do take the time and seek the information out, you will find what is important. So why are we here shouting? Because sometimes the truth is, you want the association with the person giving you the course rather than the course itself. Let's be honest. A course is not, let's be clear, a course is not a bad thing, okay? But you have to be clear about your intention, and you have to, it is your responsibility to make sure that the course is tailored for your outcomes. So it's the wrong perception to kind of like deride all courses are not valuable for you. That's not the point I'm making here. The point I'm making here is to inform you about your responsibility in these choices you are making. Because like I said, being a self-taught baker is not a bad thing, but where is your mindset at? Are you of the mindset where you're like, I want to do everything on my own because I want to learn along the way? Because frankly, if you want to kind of get at it, especially when you're establishing your business, sometimes the fact is you don't have room to be wasting time on everything else, depending on where your goals are. So say if you set up your 12-month plan and you think in 12 months you want to be able to set up, you want to have an expected amount of orders, you can't be in month 3 still trying to perfect a vanilla cake recipe. See what I'm saying here? So because if you had your 12-month goal and that's what you want to achieve, if you split that 12-month goals into, say, 3 monthly basis, that is 1/4 of the year gone, as in your 12-month goal, and you're still trying to perfect vanilla. Hello. So when are we going to get the buttercream done and then make the cake? Will be in month 9. Will your goals be achieved? But if you have, say, if you're in your short-term goal, you have like, say, 3 years, you're like, I'm not in a hurry, I have 3 years to go. Yeah, you can spend a whole year doing trial and error. That's not a bad thing. So again, on the subject, it's all about your goals, your needs, and how you are approaching them. That's all. That's a bit of business talk. But yep, I have told you, it can never be okay that another cake maker is over there shouting at somebody because they're expensive. That behavior is unacceptable. It's just not okay. But I have also told you why people do that. Because people do that not because they think the other person is really that expensive. People do that because their confidence and self-worth is challenged and they don't want to see it. So the only way they will feel better about the cake they sold short of the actual price is to go and shout at somebody else and make them feel like they are the problem for charging more than. Because the transaction between me and my customer shouldn't be your problem. Like, if I charged £10 for all the 130 cupcakes, that shouldn't be, you should be looking at me like, are you okay? And if you're okay and your customer is okay, okay, we are okay for you. Because I'll tell you, the week before last, we are in another week, right? The week before last. And as a business owner, some days you do go into your own world where you wonder whether you are even going to make it out of this thing successfully. And I have those feelings. Never mind the confidence and the chatter here. I have those feelings where some days I wake up and I'm like, oh, is this thing even worth it? Honestly, I do have those moments. Like, when I ask myself that question, it's not like I don't feel so bad I want to give it up. No. But it's a genuine thing because you don't always love your job, but you go to it, okay? But ultimately, when you weigh all the odds, you know you love what you do. So it's contextual. Okay. So the week before, I'll tell you what happened, real life experience. And I tell you, most of the time, the reason why I don't share these experiences is because, like I've said, the intention, unless it's to inform and encourage, I just don't want to make my channel a subject of experiences that are so close and around me and about people who may never have the opportunity to defend themselves, i.e. the customer. Because the customer will never have the opportunity to come here and tell you their point of view. Do you see what I'm saying? And I think on the knowledge and moral of fairness, it's important that I uphold that. And that's why sometimes I don't tell, because something as a business owner, you have like some crazy experiences I would want to come and run my mouth about, believe me. But let me tell you something, the week before last, because the week between the Valentine boxes and this corporate order, right? The Valentine boxes were such a fear thing for me. I told you before, I told you just because I decided to launch it didn't mean that I wasn't feeling insecure and scared about it, because it's something new. And I genuinely had to confront is this even like a thing? Like, who will buy them? I had all those feelings. Think about it, I had it. But I had to push through all of that. So let's just say the week before Valentine, I wasn't mentally functioning at my best. I don't know what you saw online about me, but I will tell you the inner feelings I was having was very like negative. Like, I wasn't sitting here beating myself up, but I wasn't at a place where I felt like, oh, I've got this hacked. And that's because I was facing my fear, which is trying to sell a product, something I tell you every day I am fearful about and insecure over. And then within that week, so here I am, like, I am over here not feeling great. My mental headspace was just like a little bit like down here. And guess what? That week I had, my inbox was filled with consultations, like I said consultation, inquiries, wedding cake inquiries. Like, there were about 3 of those, a custom cake, and then there were 2 people in proximity around me. They were not close, they were associates, people who are in my sort of social circle that I encountered. 2 of them. So in total, there were about 6 to 8 inquiries, right? And all of them, when I responded to each inquiry and then priced, and it goes silence. Like, that was one. It's one thing to almost like listen to yourself also, because on a good day, if I woke up and I really was feeling 100, sending those inquiries don't mean anything, because people inquiring is just people seeking information, and that information will lead to them making decisions. So inquiries don't mean anything. They are not supposed to make you feel expectant of anything. They are just supposed to become an information provision resource, okay? Provide the information. They're like, we are having a wedding here, this is what our needs are, how much will a cake cost, and your job is to just derive information about that for them. And actually at that point, they probably would have contacted a few different people, and at this point they have to make budgeting decisions. So inquiries can't be so deep. Inquiries can't make you feel anything other than, I am an information resource, let me just provide the information. But mind you, I told you, I was already functioning over here mentally. So inquiries became like a very sensitive spot for me. So after sending all the inquiries out and all of them going quiet, which is an acceptable thing. Like, most people, like, out of say 10 inquiries, you may get 2 and then 1 will eventually make a purchase. Truth. That's the thing. So what is different about this scenario? The difference is that mentally I wasn't at the best place, and I was feeling like a little bit fearful and insecure. So all the inquiries went out quiet. And guess what? The 2 people in my social circle that inquired about a cake. Normally people around me, if I know you, I'm not one of those people who carries a business card, because I know the conversation about cakes is awkward in terms of pricing, because just because we've seen each other in the same social circle doesn't mean I want to sell you a cake. And most often than not, I told you before, I remember saying this, that the people around you sometimes don't know the value of cake. So the moment you quote a price for a cake that they don't expect, it creates a tension and an awkward environment. So for instance, if say you are a parent in my son's school, I don't want to murky the waters at all. I just want to, don't ask me for cake, go buy it somewhere. That's what mentally what I propose. But that is not to say these people cannot afford my cakes. That's not the point. So anyway, these 2 people, mind you, I have to say, these people are not friends of mine. They're people I know and encounter in my social activity somehow. So these 2 people inquired about the cake, and both of them I quoted for, but I quoted for this cake by innately adding a discount that they would not have known. So normally this is how I quote. If you ask me like in passing for a quote for a cake and how much it will cost, I will not give you a quote. I would send you a link to my website so you can look at the prices, because I'm like, what's the point in telling you so that you look at me funny? Go find it out for yourself. But for people who I know around me, around my social circle, if I don't know you but I know of you and you inquire, I'll take you through the link. But when I derive the price for you, I innately kind of put like a discount on it. So for instance, this is what it looks like. Cupcakes, as in themed cupcakes. If you want cupcakes that are stamped happy birthday and stuff, they are £38. Is it 38 or 39? They are £39. They are on my website. Okay, so there's no confusion about it. Tell me how I'm wrong if I link you that £39 price. This is after you've told me everything, and yet when I give you your code, as in the custom code, I say, oh, this can be for a complimentary price of £34. Innately, you are seeing the difference in price. There's £34 here, there's £39, same item. So what's the difference? The difference is that clearly I am sort of giving you a discount on it. But guess what? These two people, both, and it's the way the conversation shifts from up until this point before you quoted, they were all cute and nice. And the moment the quote hits the text, and it checks as read, you don't hear anything. Up until this time, they've been so prompt. 48 hours later, they come with a very straight, very professional response that after considering A, B, C, D, we have decided to go with a different option. You know what? I'll tell you today, I am comfortable with that intention. But in that moment, when that text hits and you are already like feeling a little bit of tension and you don't feel great, that just is like, oh, what have I done? Is it my fault? You have all these thoughts in your head, right? But the truth is, you didn't do anything. People just choose what is important to them. People will choose what they pay for. And unfortunately, this one, they don't feel like they want to spend £34 on cupcakes. And it's that simple. And so guess what? Back to the point of last week. That was where I was at the week before the Valentine's orders. Like all these orders had gone, all these inquiries had gone out, and I had these experiences. And suddenly, honestly, I felt like, oh my God, how long will this keep going? Tell me why. Just that. I did have to push through that feeling anyway. You saw me here on a live. We talked about the live, and you almost saw the emotion I expressed about the Valentine boxes. Tell me why the Valentine boxes sold. 6 were gone out of the 10. Amazing. And tell me why just right after that, the same quote went out for the cupcakes, the corporate cupcakes. And guess what? The check cleared for the exact amount that was close to nearly £600. So you see, I am here to tell you the problem isn't you and your pricing, because the truth is the person who sees the value in what you do will pay for it, no questions asked. That's all. Okay? People, let me go and check on the boy and go and do some mom duties. Okay? I can tell you all the things I need to tell you about cakes and business, and it's a passionate subject of mine. But yeah, let's catch up some other time, some more of the subject. Take care. Much love and happy baking.